You're watching Agenda, and on the show today, why two sets of parents from Kerala have moved the Supreme Court this weekend asking for NIA probes to why their children have converted to Islam. They say that they fear it is a plot to take away children to the clutches of ISIS. But is that just an excuse to deny children who are and deny adults really the right to choose or practice their faith, the right to choose their partners? That is at the heart of the Hadia Shafi Jahan case, which the Supreme Court is hearing. And we'll hear from a mother about why she needs the NIA to probe her daughter's conversion. But first, let me run you down what happened in Supreme Court today. Well, what happened was that lawyer Dushyant Dave, who is now appearing for Shafi Jahan, who is the person that Akhila got married to, he came and told the court that because BJP National President Amit Shah was there in Kerala, the whole case is linked and it is vitiating the atmosphere in Kerala. The top court, of course, got very upset with that. They then refused to hear the case and they adjourned it. And they also told Dushyant Dave that you have bulldozed your own case and such arguments cannot be tolerated. But remember, just before this, over the weekend, we also had Akhila's father, Hadia's father, in this case, Ashokan, approach the court to say that he is being threatened because of what's happening. And the mothers have got involved as well. So let me just introduce the key players who are going to tell us more about this case and the issues that it concerns. And of course, we have the young audience over here, because remember, at the heart of this case, why it has captured all our imagination is because it all has to do with two consenting adults and their marriage being annulled by the Kerala High Court. Remember, the top court is also asking questions about that. So joining us from Kerala, we have the mother of Nimisha. Her name is Bindu Sampath. We also have a lawyer here in studio, Aishwarya Bhati. We have A. Raghunath, who is the lawyer for Ashokan, who's the father of Hadia, and Gopal Shankar Narayan, advocate in Supreme Court. Bindu Sampath, if we can start with you. You have approached the Supreme Court at a time when this case has become very, very controversial. What made you ask the Supreme Court to also ask for a probe for your daughter, Nimisha?
I need justice, ma'am. And what has happened to my daughter is full and full a love jihad style, ma'am. Because my daughter is converted to Islam by a man named Sajad Rahman, who has completed his MBBS in Jipmar in Pondicherry. And then he manipulated her. Then he had a breakup with my daughter, and she has gone to some depression mood and all. And after that, after 2 years, she was introduced to this Bexel. Actually, this Bexel is also earlier married to a Muslim girl named Alima. And there was a divorce between them, and then he is also converted to Islam. So it is such a mode of love jihad style. And an officer ranked in a DOSP ranking, he told me that Bexan is not the person who converted Nimisha to Islam. It is the so-called this Sajad Rahman who converted your daughter at Salafi Center in Statue, Trivandrum.
And ma'am, your daughter is now in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Okay, so what made you think, because Akhila is still there in her parents' home, that's where the court has put her. She says that she has gotten married and converted out of her own will. What made you hear about Akhila's case and the fact that the Supreme Court had ordered a NIA probe in that case and think, well, this is perfect, this is part of the pattern of what's happening in Kerala, part of, as you call it, you said it's another case of love jihad.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. According to me, In my daughter's case, it is full and full a love jihad style. That I can tell.
Okay. Okay. Now, in this, I think what became contentious today is also because Dushyant Dave reacted to NIA saying, is it correct that the NIA said to the court that there is a pattern emerging?
Yeah, so the court did ask the NIA and NIA was responding to that they have found in their investigation that there is a pattern emerging, but having appearing for Bindu, I must also add that she has filed 3 petitions in the High Court in Kerala. The first habeas corpus petition she filed was when she discovered that her daughter had adopted Islam, and then she wanted the daughter back, and obviously she was an angry mother at that time.
Right.
The court, daughter was produced. She said, I have accepted Islam and I want to go. She is a mother who accepted her daughter also. She is a mother who allowed her daughter to come home. She said nothing doing her. I have seen photographs of her daughter visiting her in burqa, keeping her Islamic traditions. So she turned around. She's a mother. She said, I am going to accept you. Her daughter was 7 months pregnant. And thereafter, on the pretext that they are going for a business in Sri Lanka, the daughter is out of those 21 people who have gone missing from Palakkad district and taken to Afghanistan.
Right.
She filed another habeas corpus petition at that time that now I have accepted my daughter with the son-in-law and the would-be grandchild. So why, this should happen? And
so,
obviously,
you know what I'm hearing? I hear your story, Bindu Sappat's story about Nimisha, and your client's story, which is Ashokan's daughter's story. What is difficult to understand is how the two seem similar and on what basis the NIA is saying that the pattern's emerging, because in Ashokan's daughter's case, she's still at home. She hasn't, there doesn't seem to be any ISIS kind of broaching right now. And she says that she has chosen to get married to a person of her choice.
No, the two difference is this. In Nimisha's case, the High Court granted custody to her husband. She is now in Afghanistan. In my case, Akhila was granted custody to her father.
Right.
She is with her father, safe with her father. Had the custody been granted to her husband, she would also be in Afghanistan or Syria.
That's what you feel?
Yes.
But to the entire case of court questioning the High Court's order as well and saying that on what basis could they annul a marriage, you don't think that there's a whole...
No, if you see the facts...
That you're questioning autonomy of people's choice?
No, nobody is against love marriage. I mean, Hindus have married Muslims, Muslims have married Hindus. We are not against that. But this is a case of a concerted effort to trap non-Muslim girls and make them go through a process of sham marriage and make them Muslims, and wherever possible, send them as sex slaves to Syria or Afghanistan.
Gopal Shankar Narayan, what do you find? Do you find anything problematic with what they are arguing?
Yeah, there are 3 points, and all on law, because it's easy to get trapped with emotion, etc. on this, and there will be 2 sides to every story. And my sympathies, of course, to the mothers who must be grieving. But the first is that as adults, the law permits you decisional autonomy. All right, you appoint guardians, etc. for minors, but for adults who seem to be otherwise of sane mind, etc., there's no question of appointing guardians at all in either of these cases.
So the fact that they've appointed a guardian in this case
or
is first
told the mother or father that there's
a
guardian, tomorrow if a court interferes and says that my 82-year-old father is my guardian and I'm 40, it seems bizarre.
Right.
Okay, that's not the law.
And this is a 24-year-old
There's no
woman
question of appointing guardians for adults.
Okay.
Now, that's the first. The second is where I think the Supreme Court erred in saying the NIA needs to investigate. The NIA and Justice Lodha, if you'll remember, Chief Justice Lodha many years ago had referred to the CBI as a caged parrot. There's a good chance the National Investigation Agency could become that, because the NIA should have turned around and told the Supreme Court, which they haven't said yet, that look, we are covered by a statute of law. Our jurisdiction extends only to what's provided in that law.
Which is terror cases.
No, it's very specific. It deals with atomic energy arising out of the Atomic Energy Act. It deals with maritime. It deals with space. It deals with aircraft. And it deals with specific types of terror cases. All right?
Right.
Now, none of these were ever found to be covering the area at the moment. So, to prejudge the issue and say NIA will investigate, I think is an error. I don't think the NIA has jurisdiction over this. But there is a third point, which is this, that at least in the first case, Bindu's case, there was, sorry, no, what's her name?
Akhila's case.
Akhila's case, sorry. There was a finding by the High Court that, look, the person who was being treated as her guardian wrongly was a person who took the call to ensure that she gets married, and admittedly it's supposed to be an arranged marriage, gets married to a man who has criminal cases pending against him.
Right.
Now the High Court says that, look, is this the kind of rational exercise of judgment that a person who is put in the position of a guardian would exercise to get your daughter, in a way, married in this manner to a person who has criminal cases pending against him when it's an arranged marriage?
Right.
So it was not a question of a love marriage, is the way the High Court proceeds.
That's right, yeah.
So there may be a contrapoint, but all of this has to be examined. I think the threshold issue is, how does a court embark on examining when you know that the individual is an adult and has come to you of her own volition, has interacted with the judges, and all that has been done.
You wanted to.
How do you step in and say guardians can be
appointed? I mean, I have no problem with my friend what Gopal is saying. That's the general law. But wherever the High Court finds that this is a case of somebody having terrorist links or somebody being taken unlawfully outside the country, the High Court is right in annulling the marriage. And then regarding the marriage,
but she's not been taken abroad.
No, that is because the High Court gave custody to my client. I mean, they had every plans for her to be taken abroad.